Well, an Austrian designer has come up with a solution to help us with our smartphone addictions, or as my wife calls it, my appendage. If you found yourself using your smartphone a little too much, an Austrian designer named Clemens Schillinger might have a product to help you break the habit. Schillinger has created a series of smartphone-like tablets, which he's appropriately calling substitute phones, inspired by this compulsive smartphone checking idea. Each of these features are different arrangements of inset beads for you to move your fingers across, some of which emulate a specific smartphone gesture, like scrolling up and down a page, unlocking a device, pinch to zoom, to recreate the feeling of using a modern handset when you have the urge to do so. So the substitute phone isn't intended to be a fun replacement for your device. It's intended to be a coping mechanism to deal with its absence. You see, with the alarming regularity of reports suggesting that smartphone use or excessive smartphone use is linked to mental health issues like depression, maybe this isn't such a ridiculous idea after all. What do you think? Now here's something interesting. I thought this was pretty cool. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to have a thermometer in your phone? The South Korean tech company known as Crucial Tech has reportedly developed the world's first micro-sized thermometer sensor module for smartphones. This, according to the Korea Herald, is able to measure a person's body temperature in just 0.5 seconds using a connected application. The module makes use of an integrated microelectrical mechanical system and is said to be able to measure the temperature of humans or objects, presumably animals too, between -40 and 200 degrees Celsius. Of course, the sensor is also implemented in such a way that the smartphone's natural temperature doesn't interfere with the measurements taken. Now just think about that. For example, that means that the CPU in a smartphone, which normally heats up pretty fast after extended use, would not affect the readings on this microthermometer. How would that work? Well, we don't exactly know just yet. However, it is based on touchless technology. Users don't actually need to come into contact with the sensor to measure their temperature. This could help lower the risk of infection and widen the number of possible applications, compared to more traditional thermometers. The Korea Herald doesn't mention when we might see such technology implemented into smartphones. This is only the first sensor of its kind and may take some years before we start to see it in a commercial context, if that ever happens. Well, if you didn't already feel that Mother Google is watching you, they really will be watching you soon. The patent, uncovered by Patently Apple, describes a sort of hands-free system that essentially opens a laptop for you. It starts by pushing a touch-sensitive pad. This then activates one or more motorized hinges that stop once the screen is in the correct position. Needless to say, the complex system somehow isn't done though. The patent also describes a series of ambient light and camera sensors that track the user's face. By doing this, a laptop could theoretically adjust its display based on the user's position. That's right. You might one day have a laptop that's following your head movements. Well, whether you think that's spooky, freaky, or really cool, I think you're going to have to just accept it. It's going to be very commonplace in the next 10 to 15 years, so said Mr. Broda. Why? Well, because we have the vast World Wide Web and its petabytes of information that we're looking at through these tiny little screens. It's like looking at the beautiful universe through a keyhole. It's ridiculous. It doesn't work. So when the Internet of Things kicks up, you're going to see everything that has an ISP address, which is pretty much everything, have some sort of display screen, right? Your windows, your refrigerator door, your car windshield, the road itself can give you information. It can tell you what the road conditions are up ahead, where there's an accident, where you can get to a detour, and it can be catered just to where you're going. Heck, we have the beginning of this technology already. It's just not very scalable just yet. Everything around you is going to have an ISP address. It's going to be giving you information and taking it in at the same time. That, my friends, is freaky. Now, my audience is smart. So smart that sometimes you're inspired by a business idea, and then you try and get the name of that business in a domain name. And your next prospective customer is searching your business name, and they assume you have the .com. And if you don't, you're giving your business away to the one who does. That's the power of a .com. Now, why is that exactly? Well, no domain name extension tells your story with the same degree of trust as a .com or .net domain name. .com and .net domain name extensions inject credibility into your online presence. And who doesn't want to be credible? And don't forget, you get 15% off when you use our coupon code ANDROID. When you think domain names, think domain.com.